all lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light.
I need to have another one of these.
Amen, amen.
Gee. I kind of.
This is way over the edge. Like we it's not even over the edge. We died already.
This is beyond the event horizon. Like we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, we about to hit the vortex.
Yeah, yeah.
All gravity, any evening above ground, live it.
I'm back.
All right. I don't know how long we're gonna be, but this was interesting because Piers Morgan got a hold of some folk yesterday to talk about the Rob Reiner situation. And yeah. He had an eclectic panel of folk. 3 of them are in the thumbnail. So we're going to talk about that one time. And, you know, comedy and all that. And forgive me, but I don't know. I've been feeling, I don't know. Suddenly I'm under the weather a little bit. I don't know. I don't feel right. So I might not be chiming in as much as I'm used to, but we're still going to make this enjoyable nonetheless. But let's get to the show. But before we do all that, let's see who's in the building. Gamers Den, hello. SD Johnson, hello. Cosmo Fury, hello. Emperor Rex, hello. Boilermaker, hello. Don P, hello. And Donnie the Misfit, hello. And for those who haven't said anything in the live chat or the comments, hello. All right, since we're going to be watching a video, customary house cleaning.
Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern.
All right, let's get to the show. Begin, Mr. Morgan.
the death of Rob Reiner, including an extraordinary statement just a few minutes ago from President Trump. It might make people feel better, but if they have any interest in living in a contented and genuinely united society, the truth is they're making it a lot worse. Well, joining me to debate this, founder and CEO of the Young Turks, Cenk Ugyr, the host of Keeping It Real, Jillian Michaels, host of Democracy-ish, Wajaha Ali, and the journalist and host of The Emily Austin Show, Emily Austin, and Roland Martin, host of Unfiltered. Welcome to all of you. Look, I was going to start with the horrific attacks in Australia, and we'll come to those, obviously. But as we've come on air, Cenk Ugyr, Donald Trump has gone on his Truth Social platform to talk about Rob.
Wait a minute. Did he even introduce old girl at the bottom? Oh, he didn't. Let me say it again because I went to go get my food. Hold on.
They're making it a lot worse. Well, joining me to debate this, founder and CEO of the Young Turks, Cenk Ugyr, the host of Keeping It Real, Jillian Michaels, host of Democracy-ish, Wajaha Ali, and the journalist and host of The Emily Austin Show, Emily Austin, and Roland Martin, host of Unfiltered. Welcome to all of you. Look, I was going to start with the horrific attacks in Australia, and we'll come to those, obviously. But as we've come on air, Cenk Ugyr, Donald Trump has gone on his Truth Social platform to talk about Rob Reiner. Now, I interviewed Rob Reiner on this show 3 months ago. And aside from what he just said about Charlie Kirk, as we just heard, which was, I thought, extraordinarily gracious, given he politically disagreed with almost everything Charlie Kirk stood for. Notwithstanding that, Rob Reiner just got brutally murdered, along with his wife, it appears, by their son, who's had many years of battling drug addiction and homelessness, and appears to have gone crazy and stabbed them both to death in the most barbaric of circumstances, is now under arrest with a $4 million bail. Donald Trump has just posted this. A very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife, Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused others through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with a mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump, with his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before. May Rob and Michelle rest in peace. You know, I got to say, Cenk, that just crosses every line of just basic human decency to me. Yeah, Rob Reiner was murdered last night by his troubled, unhinged son. And to make political capital, and what angers me about it is there was all the outrage from Trump supporters, rightly, when the left mocked Charlie Kirk after he was murdered. And I thought we'd reached a kind of consensus that this, whatever side of the divide you're on, this is just unacceptable. That when people get murdered, you just show basic respect. And it's just happened as we came on air. I just thought we've got to start with this, because when you're the most powerful man in the world, listen, everyone knows I've known Trump a long time, but this is one of those times when many times he's been like this, when big public figures have died. I remember it with John McCain. I remember it with Colin Powell. And each time I just wince at the lack of basic decency. What is your reaction to that?
Well, you saw that I came on here and I was brokenhearted when Charlie Kirk was killed, and I condemned the people celebrating it because, my God, if you're part of the peace movement, you're on the left, etc. We're supposed to be for nonviolence more than anybody else. So, and that was disappointing at that time. And then Donald Trump, among others, said it was the most outrageous thing they'd ever seen. For him to do it now to Rob Reiner, I mean, and for what? For what? I mean, did this guy advocate for some heinous thing? Not at all. And here's what I want people to understand about Rob Reiner. So he was obviously an enormous figure in Hollywood. Some of the movies that we all love, like Stand By Me, When Harry Met Sally, etc. Right? But on top of that, here's something that no one could argue with. Rob Reiner was a true American patriot. He loved this country. Now, whether you agreed with him or disagreed with him on any issue, he's a guy who put his heart into this country and always tried to make it better. You could see patriots like that, whether they're on the right or the left, who deeply care about their fellow man. And Rob Reiner was definitely one of those people. He was the best of us. And to die in such a tragic way, and then to have the president of the United States rub it in and somehow make it about himself. Look, I could get angry at Donald Trump. We've all been angry at
Dude, you've done that too. So we're not going to act. I love how they come up being sanctimonious. It's okay, though, Cenk. It's okay. Whenever it was an Armenian enemy, you were glad that they were taking out. We're not going to do that, but go ahead.
Donald Trump. But if you're on the right, more than anything else, you should just be deeply disappointed. Is this what you wanted? Is this the ha-ha, you're dead kind of mentality that you wanted? It sounded like after...
Look at Bowling Ball Martin down there nodding his head.
Charlie died, that you really, really didn't want that you thought it was a terrible thing to do.
Well, that's the point. Yeah, look, that's the point, Jillian, that I would make, is it's going to be very interesting to me what people on the conservative right in America say by way of their reaction to what Donald Trump has said here? Because if there's any support for this from MAGA, from his supporters, his friends, from anyone, then it flies completely in the face of that whole debate after Charlie Kirk, when so many on the left behaved disgustingly. I remember calling it out at the time. And then here, the idea that he was murdered because of something to do with his views of Donald Trump, which is complete nonsense. I'm not just disappointed, I'm angry with it.
I completely agree with you and Cenk here.
Jillian said, "You're not going to get any pushback from me on this." Now, for those that were here when we played her last appearance on here, she said that she's really not a conservative. I was like, okay. Okay.
I will say that when I woke up and learned about this, it was on Brandon Tatum's Instagram, and he actually showed the clip of you talking.
Tatum Tots. Did she just admit she listens to Tatum Tots? Okay. For those who don't know, I'm sure some of y'all in here are going to tell me how great Tatum Tots is. That's fine. Make sure you hit the like. Y'all want to explain something to me, though? This is who she likes listening to.
I gotta go. They're quick to run and grab that talking point of Biden and Hillary Clinton. Created the I'm gone, man. Bill. They created the crime bill. You the fakest nigga I ever seen in my life. They created the crime bill. I see you in person. They created the crime bill. They created what you said. They created. I'm done, bro. You a fake nigga. I hope everybody see that. I appreciate it. Fake, bro. I'm gonna expose you to everybody. And when I see you, nigga, we gonna be. It's gonna be on. I want you to know that. Because you call me on the phone and you saying all this, and then you get on the live stream and you playing this shit. You should be ashamed of yourself. Is that black on black crime? Is that black on black crime? You's a bitch. I told you. Everybody on your live stream know you's a bitch, and when I see you, I'm whooping your ass. Everybody got your live stream. I like it. You want to be hood, nigga? You want to be hood? You on the phone talking shit to me, and you call me? You saying you apologize? Yeah, nigga. I never apologize. You apologize? I never apologize. You didn't apologize. My wife listened to you, nigga. I never apologized. What I said was, bitch, nigga. That's what I said.
She likes listening to Thug podcasts. All them N-words he was throwing around. Now he's taking shekels from Israel. Let's let it continue.
To Rob Reiner. So my hope is that any reasonable person on the right or the left finds political violence disgusting, any support of it disgusting, and I'm with both you and Cenk. There's zero pushback over here. I'm extremely disappointed in the way Trump
it's not even, there's not even a suggestion it's political violence in this case, right? We don't know why the son did this.
Well, either way, if Trump was trying to imply that it was because of Trump derangement syndrome, any violence of any kind, I don't think he was. Reprehensible. I'm not quite sure exactly what he was trying to imply, but I'm disappointed by his response. I have yet to see anybody on the right.
Roland looked bored, but I see what he's doing. He's trying to grift the views. I say, God damn, son. Why does Jillian Michaels look like Sarah Connor and Steven, what's his name? Steven Tyler did the fusion dance. That's crazy. Like, if them two fuse, this motherfucker on the screen here be killing Terminators while singing the song from Armageddon. That's crazy.
Endorse that statement or celebrate the death of Rob Reiner. I certainly hope we don't, and I promise you that I would absolutely condemn anybody who does that.
Right. Let me bring Ugyr in. I want to play a clip. This is another clip from the interview I did with him. I spoke to him for 45 minutes, literally in mid-September. It was a great interview, and I was very struck actually by the more mollifying tone that he took throughout this interview about Trump, who he has been very critical of in the past. There's no question. He's ranted away about Trump like many in Hollywood have done. But in that interview, he struck a very different tone. And here's him talking about Trump and the fact the left kept calling him Hitler. Senator Ted Cruz has come out and said that people should stop using the Nazi rhetoric. And I feel very strongly about this. I think that you can absolutely go after Donald Trump in an aggressive way.
All right. So the Candyman showed up even though we didn't say his name 3 times. You said, why are all these freaks trying to compare the two? Trump wasn't celebrating Rob's death, less celebrating Charlie's death, so this whole Q and able to bunch of crap and effing nonsense. You must be drunk because that last part didn't work. But y'all's right-wingers were saying, we don't care about that man's death because look what y'all did when Charlie Kirk got hit or they tried to take out Trump. They introduced it. They're just giving them back the energy. And the reason why they brought up Charlie Kirk is because, as Piers pointed out, he talked to that man 3 months ago after Charlie got killed. And Rob Reiner, since everybody says that he has TDS, could have danced on that man's grave. He actually gave him grace. That's why he said it. Thank you so much. But we go back to the show.
But calling him Hitler or calling his supporters Nazis, I think crosses every acceptable line.
It doesn't get you where you want to be. I don't really know very many things that I agree with him on, but I also feel that if you go name calling like that, it's not going to get you what you want. You have to rally people around the things that you agree with that are in disagreement with Donald Trump. And to me, the one area that, again, we both agree on is the freedom of speech and in the Constitution, First Amendment.
You know, there's an irony there with Jaha about the name calling, because I don't know what Donald Trump thinks he'll achieve with this rant about Rob Reiner, as his body is still warm from this brutal murder. But whatever he thinks it will achieve, it will only, I think, anger and disappoint a lot of Americans, if not all Americans. And I just don't understand why he would use his gigantic platform so soon after someone is murdered to do this.
The harsh truth is this is who Donald Trump is. This is who he has always been. He's been cruel. He's been vulgar. He's lacked empathy. I mean, you just saw this right now. I'm glad you brought it up because I read it right before I came on your show. You know, Rob Reiner and his wife, it seems that they were brutally and tragically murdered by their son, who apparently had mental health issues and drug problems. He was a beloved director. And you're seeing Donald Trump right now, who is the president of the United States, folks. He's the commander in chief. He's the representative of our country. And you just hope any president, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. What they say is this is a terrible tragedy, thoughts and prayers. Simple as that. But we've seen Donald Trump just even recently with Erica Kirk. I was on your show and we all praised. It was a consensus amongst the panel that when she forgave the alleged shooter, Tyler Robinson, we all said that was very brave and a beautiful thing to do at the Arizona rally. What did Donald Trump do right after she said it? He goes, I don't forgive. I'm not as forgiving. Like, why would you say that? And then also with after he survived the assassination attempt, if you remember at the RNC,
Piers Morgan over there sniping me from the UK. You bastard, you.
You know, he had that patch on his ear. They gave him a script. He was supposed to be decent, kind, you know, meditative for the first 20 minutes. And then he mocked and ridiculed Paul Pelosi, who survived an assassination attempt by David DePape. So this is who he is. And Piers, if I may say, he's been like this for 10 years. I've been saying it. Cenk's been saying it. Roland's been saying it. For everyone waking up today, where you been? This is who he is.
Well, where I've been, I've always called it out when he's done it after people die. I think there's a particularly distasteful aspect. And I'll bring Emily in here. You know, when people have just been...
You said what?
If there's a mod in there, y'all know what to do.
Smoke wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
No, why y'all coming up in here saying dumb shit? All right. Trumo, say less. I didn't know we had President Trumo. And by the way, y'all elected him, or the people elected him. He ain't doing nothing, but you know, y'all got it. I tell a lie. He's giving the Middle East money. I tell a lie. And incorporating European style surveillance on the people. I forgot about that. We're gonna have fun next year.
murdered, whether it's Charlie Kirk, whether it's Rob Reiner, it doesn't matter to me what their politics are. When they've been brutally murdered, the only decent, civilized, human thing to do is to just be respectful or do nothing. You know, if your genuine feeling is what he's just ranted, well, don't say it.
Right. I feel like as the president of the United States, he does not, with all due respect, have any obligation to need to tweet about Rob Reiner. I feel like he has, other things going on, and that's reasonable. If I were in Trump's inner circle, would I had told him to post this? Probably not. I'd suggest strongly for him to just not say anything at all. The first I'm ever hearing of Rob Reiner is that he has Trump derangement syndrome, and that still doesn't change any of my empathy towards him. I didn't know.
Lady, Trump don't like you because you're a woman.
What the hell?
I said it. It doesn't matter that you're blonde and you got on 10 pounds of makeup. You're a woman and he doesn't like you. So he wouldn't have listened to you. Thank you so much. Oh, wait, I got to say it right. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Know who he was. I'm hearing now he was talented. In fact, one of the first impressions I've had of him was Donald Trump's tweet. But I really think we're doing a disservice by drawing parallels from this to political violence, even bringing up Charlie Kirk's murder. I get why you brought it up, Pierce, because you're saying, well, if you don't like how the left celebrated his death, don't celebrate this. But nobody's celebrating Rob Reiner's death. I hope, as Jillian said,
well, it sounds like Donald Trump is getting. Yeah, but look, it does sound like he's getting pretty close to it. I mean, when he says that, he got killed reportedly due to the anger he caused others with his mind-crippling disease, Trump derangement syndrome. There is zero evidence for any of that. He got killed by his deeply disturbed son after what the TMZ and New York Post and others are reporting was a terrible family argument. The son, Nick, who's now 32, was a screenwriter who battled and talked openly made a film about drug addiction, homelessness, and so on. But apparently, used whatever kind of implement to slit the throats of his parents.
Yeah.
I
hear you. I'm not justifying it.
So I'm not saying that. I don't think there's any political motivation for this attack whatsoever. But Donald Trump has made it political by inferring very clearly that this happened because Rob Reiner attacked him. And that to me is where
I disagree. I disagree, Pierce. I'll tell you what I think his intention was, and I will also preface by saying he did not get the message across. I feel like his intention was, hey, everybody, look, although this man hated me, and although he had Trump derangement syndrome, he ended it, putting up together with may they rest in peace, whatever. I feel like what his intention was even though I disagree with him, the guy died, and I'm sorry for him. He did that in possibly the worst way.
Stop it.
And I just don't feel like this is really shocking to anybody here. I feel like we've all been.
So Roland is about to go after. Y'all know where we're going with this. Okay, Roland. We're gonna help you because I see what you're doing. You're getting annoyed because it's been minutes and they will not let you say anything stupid. We understand, sir. So now you're going to do something that you probably shouldn't do as a man, especially in this political climate. You're going after the blue eyes white bitch.
My blue eyes white dragon! Now, Blue Eyes attack his Exodia Necros!
Roland is over here trying to defeat the blue eyes white bitch. This is not gonna work, sir. You will be attacked online and you're gonna be going on a blocking spree like you usually do. But go ahead.
Or not, that's who he is. This tweet was wrong, but it's not, necessarily so shocking for all of us to see. And also, it shouldn't be going after Bush.
I actually did find it quite shocking, and I have known Trump a long time. I am a friend of Trump's, good, bad, and ugly. And I got to say, Roland, there's no defense for this.
Here we go.
There's no defense. I don't know what the hell I just heard. Let's be clear. He has no morals.
So he literally came in there and started trying to sound hood. Okay, go ahead, Roland.
No values, no decency, no ethics, no principles. This is who he is. This is not a shock at all. He's a narcissist. He is someone who makes everything about him. And so this is who this man is. This is who he was, not in the last 10 years, Piers, but going back to when he was descending down those escalators. Going before that, the whole thing with Obama and the birther. This is who this man is.
Well, he's always been a trash talker.
So I'm not
Roland, hang on.
not trash talker.
Hang on a second. he's always been a trash talker, right? He's a New York real estate guy. He's a trash talker. And I would say, I would say, I know, I'm going to come to that. In relation to general trash talk, my God, the left talk trash about him, right? As I said in that clip, so all the Hitler stuff and Nazi stuff, all that, you know, it's a two-way street, the trash talking. This is a particular thing, which angered me. It angered me when I saw his reaction to Colin Powell dying, to John McClane dying. You know, I just think there's just got to be, on all sides, when public figures like this die, whether they're great politicians or they're great movie people, whatever it is, there just has to be a basic decency. If people get killed or murdered or whatever it is, or die after great lives and careers, just either be decent or don't say anything.
Here's the deal. This is all sides is nonsense. Listen, the regular average person who's out there on social media, that's one thing. But it's called being a statesman for a reason. I'm literally sitting here. I grabbed my book, Master of the Senate of LBJ, and it was amazing. Cairo.
Did he just really bring up a book with Okay, Roland. All right.
Cairo talks about how LBJ, how when he was president, how he spoke and moved differently publicly than he did when he was majority leader of the Senate, because he saw the presidency and the respect for the institution. This person has none. This is no shock. There's a reason I don't even call him president, because he does not rise to the occasion in that way. This is who he is. He will degrade people. He will say these things. I am not shocked by it because he is despicable in this way. Well, and there's no defense. There's no, I think he meant, he meant exactly what he wrote.
Okay, look, I want to move on to Australia, but I do want to end by just playing a clip, another clip from that interview with Rob Reiner, which I think is a nice way to remember him, because ironically, I said to him, because we've just been talking about Charlie Kirk, I said, you know, Rob, you know, when the day comes when you're no longer with us, and I hope it's not for a long time, very ironic given what's now happened. But I said, you know, I would love to know, out of all your movies, which one would you choose? And he said this: should the moment come when we need to remember the work of Rob Reiner, which is the one for you of everything you've ever done that you would most like to be remembered for?
I always say Stand By Me, to me, is the one that meant the most to me. I don't know that it's the best, it's for other people to decide, but it's the one that meant the most to me because it really is an extension of my personality and my sensibility. It has a mixture of humor and melancholy and emotion, and it's something that is closest to me of all the films I've done.
You know, and he went on to say a really moving thing, which was, I said my favorite one of his movies was When Harry Met Sally, which I think in many ways is almost a perfect movie. Brilliantly written, brilliantly directed, brilliantly acted, and a perfect length. And he talked about the fact that it was about 90 minutes. And he said a number of people that would come up to him who said on New Year's Eve, which obviously we're just a few weeks away from now, on New Year's Eve, they would start watching it at 10:30 at night on New Year's Eve. So that at the precise moment of the New Year's Eve denouement to the movie, people would actually celebrate the new year and how much he loved that. And that is actually how I'd love Rob Reiner to be remembered, as somebody who actually moved people with the power of his movies. And my God, he had so many great movies. And they were movies of warmth and love and humor and hope and all the things you would want in society. And that is how he should be remembered, I think. So
didn't I tell y'all this morning that the left was going to run around and say Misery was the greatest movie ever made? Oh, that script.
Why do you feel a necessity to
You're
insult
acting
people?
again.
Is that,
where's the script? Where's the script? Read the script.
Is this a big defensive thing that you've got?
Read the script.
Why don't you read your own script?
Years, can I make a quick comment about his amazing career? Just real quick, just for Emily, if you want to go rent some of his movies. Rob Reiner had a generational run of movies for a decade. I just want to name them. I think I could get them at the top of my head in a row. This is Spinal Tap, The Sure Thing, Stand By Me, Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, Few Good Men. All in a row.
Wait a minute. This girl, how old is this woman that she's never seen A Few Good Men? Or she got to be Gen Z. She got it. Go ahead. She's about to write down all these movies where she could have just never mind.
When Harry Met Sally. I'm gonna watch it.
I mean, name me another director with that type of a run. And
Harry Met Sally. She about to say that whole movie's woke. Look at Jillian. She's like, oh Lord. Cenk want to laugh. Piers look pissed off because she ain't say no British movies, but that's all right. Roland looking to the Most High because the Most High about to smack him again for acting like a coon on here. And Wajahad, I don't know. I think he's trying to elicit the AI to make sure that he stays. And this white girl, okay. It's hell of a panel you put together, Pierce. Hell of a panel.
In addition, just to being everyone who knew him said, regardless of what you think about his politics, a really decent, loving, caring man who cared passionately about people, championed rights for women, LGBTQ folks, and cared about our democracy and preserving it.
Yeah, someone did a great tweet. This was Dan Perlman on X. He said, Rob Reiner directed the best American rom-com, When Harry Met Sally, the best coming-of-age film, Stand By Me, the best fantasy comedy, Princess Bride, the best mockumentary, This Is Spinal Tap, and the best courtroom drama showdown, A Few Good Men. He did all that and so much more. So look, I want to move on, but I do think that is how Rob Reiner should be remembered, and not for Trump derangement syndrome, which I'm sad to say says more about the president for saying that than it does about Rob Reiner. Right, let's move on to what I wanted to start with before this blew up, and that's this appalling terror attack in...
Okay, I don't care about that. Not that I don't care that people died there. I'm just saying that that's not what we came here for. Let me see. Let's see, what else did they talk about? What did he say? Oh Lord. Okay, where are the Black Americans? Roland went and became a Pan-African again. All right. He said it, not me. Let's see what he said here.
At the expense of that nation's culture. I mean, at its purest.
That's not true.
Well, that is true.
Okay, what you just described is the case.
Oh, I gotta go back. I need this context.
Particularly in other countries, is that if you come...
Not.
Oh, they might have started fighting.
Radicals out. And if you've got, let's say, 1% of 2 billion people that want to bring down the West, like, what do you do about chance of death to America and Dearborn? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, what do you say
I keep
about
hearing
that?
assimilation. Piers, I keep hearing assimilation. And again, this is the point which you're making. You keep saying assimilation. That is the answer. Again, what happens when people who are born here, who were brought here in chains, and their ancestors and their folks are here, and you still are dealing with white domestic terrorism? Is that assimilation? See, this is the problem. Y'all somehow think that assimilation, that's going to be the answer. That's not. It is not the answer.
Well,
and so it's nonsensical to think so.
Depends what you mean. I mean, look, let me
generally thrive in America.
Yeah, let them define it.
Ooh, Jillian, Miss, I have Black children. Yes, everybody comes to America though and brings their culture with them, right? And we know this for a fact because we've watched your cousins for years participate in everybody's culture. Now, all of a sudden, because Trump is inside, now y'all want to act like that's a bad thing. Y'all were getting down on a chicken tikka masala. Now y'all want to throw out some Indians. Where we do that at? Y'all were dancing with them Nigerians down there in Houston and Dallas. All of a sudden now, you want to deport Nigerians. Y'all stay going to Jamaica every year. Now all of a sudden, you want to say that Jamaica is a third world country. Y'all are not serious. And even your white cousins come over here and bring their culture and you don't say a word about it. But all right, go ahead.
Let me bring in Cenk.
I'll define
Let me bring in Cenk.
I'll define it. It's not chanting death to America. It's loving America.
Hang on,
Wanting to
Jillian.
pursue the
It's
American
also not
dream.
participating in a violent insurrection.
That's kind of the answer,
All
in
right.
my opinion.
Can I say something, please, to Cenk? So, Cenk,
No, I don't care about what Chen talking about.
to say you come, it means that you do
Where's Roland?
stuff culture. I mean, at its purest, in the culture of the country you go to, at the expense of that nation's culture. I mean, at its purest.
That's not true.
Well, that is true.
Okay, what you just described is the case. Then the Italians, the Jewish, the Polish, every group that came to the United States did exactly what you just said. They had own communities, own culture. So, like, do you understand the history of America?
Yes, and I also understand that in the
what you described.
Well, I don't remember the Italians in America setting up their own rival court system, for example. Unless
That's actually a lie. What do you think the mafia was doing? Oh Lord, Piers, you don't even know American history. Keep going.
Muslims haven't either.
Yeah, no. Because in the UK, we now have nearly 100 Sharia courts have been set up. Okay,
Yeah.
So I don't remember.
I love how Piers thinks that the Italian mafia did not have courts, that they were not doling out justice in their own neighborhoods. Now he gonna act like that never happened. Jesus Christ. Okay, go ahead. By the way, screenshot. This Piers looks crazy up there. I might change the thumbnail.
That happening with any of the Poles or the Italians in the United States. That's what I'm talking about, Cenk.
Okay. All right. So what I can't stand is the double standard. So if, for example, Jillian said, what if 10% Muslims are violent? Okay. If you said that about Jewish people and you said, look, I'm not worried about most Jews, but if 10% of Jews are treacherous and serve Israel first and betray their country. Hold on. No, Jillian. Now you let me talk. Okay? No, you let me talk. No. Okay. So now,
whoa, he got loud. Look at Chunk Yogurt. Look at him getting loud with a woman. By the way, Chunk.
Bitch boy running around with his emotional thug issue.
Why are you so emotional, sir?
If you said 10% of Jews are the real problem, everyone would be outraged, and rightfully so. That's not the right thing to say. But people say it blithely about Muslims, like we don't count, and it's no big deal to discriminate against us. Now let's talk about immigration. You fill out forms. If some idiot fills out a form and says, I'm for ISIS, I'm for Muslim extremism, and you don't want to let him into the country, of course you don't let him into the country. But now we're talking about Muslims at large. Wait, that's a totally different thing. By the way, are we doing the same thing for Israelis? Are we having them fill? Hold on. Are we asking them to fill out a form? Are you against murdering 20,000 Palestinian kids?
But they're already doing that, Chunk. They're already starting to implement that. For you to come here to America, you're soon going to have to fill out a whole bunch of forms that will include your social media history. Yeah. The crime bill is on the way, folks, for those who never heard me say that. The crime bill is on the way. Sponsored by Palantir.
They say, no, I am for it, and I like what Israel did. Are we banning them because they're sick, violent extremists who don't mind the murder of 20,000 children? No, of course not. In fact, when you look at the forms right now, what we're asking in entering our country is, what are your views about Israel? Who gives a damn what their views about Israel are when they're coming to America? Why are we asking about a different country? What I care most about is American sovereignty. Now, Roland is right. Muslims come here, Jews come here, Italians, etc. We all assimilate to some degree. I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. My favorite food is subs, etc. And I'm sure that's true of Jews, Christians, everywhere.
Okay, so first off, you're going after a loser team, number one. Number two, you look like you ain't missed a sub. So, okay.
Deflection! 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 Deflection!
Why did you mention that, Chunk Yogurt? But go ahead.
Right? But we also keep a part of our culture. And if we said to, again, Jewish people, like we're saying to Muslims, how dare you not assimilate? What's with the silly hat and the stupid little things and the things coming out of your pockets? Why don't you assimilate? The real problem is the Jews. And they're too, hold on. And they're too loyal to Israel. And that's the real problem. They will not assimilate. All they care about is Israel. Everyone would say you're an unacceptable anti-Semite and you should be canceled forever.
Listen,
but what people say about Muslims,
I got what he was saying, but I don't know why he brought it up, but
To say the least, shut up, bitch.
I ain't gonna hold you. He just sounded like a victim, but go ahead.
Okay, listen, I'm going to wrap the debate, but what I would say, though, is there should be lines that we can all agree to draw. One is if you chant global intifada, everybody knows what that means. There have been two
called America imperialism.
intifadas in the last 30-odd years, and they were both extremely violent. So when people call for that and chant about it...
How about the violence of the occupation?
Okay.
They are uprising against a brutal fascist occupation for 52 brutal terrorist years. But you never talk about the Israeli violence in the same way. When Israelis get together,
I've regularly criticized
occupy the Palestinians, enslave them.
Okay, this is not about the Palestinians. Jesus Christ. I think we going. Roland ain't really go off. He upset. Oh, wait, Roland talked? Wait, he might have talked.
Divide and conquer.
Me?
We're all
I
in
just
this
want to point
together.
out,
We're all in this together.
And this entire debate, the fact that you have to straw man arguments and put words in people's mouths shows that you have no
has been
taste.
blaming other religions.
You call me a
blaming
white
other
nationalist. You
Well,
have no idea what you're talking about.
I must say, Wajaha,
Oh
I've heard of some curious ways of ending on a positive note. That was not.
Does Roland have a box of calzones in his hand? What is that white box, sir? You look hungry.
Not one of
But
them.
no, that's an
I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it. It's hard to think of a less positive note you left it on than hammering two of your co-panelists, but we'll leave it there. I actually think what they said in Australia was a good thing, and we should all strive to be unifying forces and not polarizing forces. We started this with Donald Trump's comments on Rob Reiner. How nice it would have been if Donald Trump had come out and paid tribute to Rob Reiner, the filmmaker, because I bet he's loved his film.
Okay, we didn't need him to go pay tribute. Who cares? But guess who did pay tribute? No, I'm just kidding. He gave him that work. And I'm sure MAGA is going to be upset when they get the full video.
You know, let me go here. There's a growing concern in.
That's right, y'all. Old Nick Fuentes said something about Trump. Old Nicky. Would y'all like to hear what old Nicky said? We got it. It's right, her. We're going to have fun. He already looks constipated, but I'm sure he's going to say something.
Someone gets murdered by their son. It's a horrific tragedy. This is a horrible story. And nobody deserves that. I don't care what their politics are, what they said on the internet or on television. Nobody deserves to be murdered, stabbed to death with their wife by their own son, who they tried to help, and their best friend discovers the corpses. It's despicable. And it's despicable to make fun of that. And I do think that, look, somebody like George Bush passes away of old age at the very end, and you talk about his political legacy. That's one thing. Some guy, some producer, some civilian dies at the hands of his kid. It's such a grisly situation. It is objectively awful to make fun of that. Now, if Trump were actually doing what he promised to do, you could overlook the fact that he's a douchebag.
Well, damn. Nick. Wait a minute, fam. Is Nick... Is he gonna take a shot at the title? I'm intrigued. Go ahead, Nick.
You could overlook the fact that he's vain, that he's a narcissist, that he's tactical but not strategic. You could overlook all these things if he was bringing home the goods. That was kind of the deal in 2016. You said, we don't love everything about Trump, but you know what? We're willing to accommodate. It's an acquired taste, but it's okay because he's doing all these other things. Well, what's actually the pitch now? We get nothing. We get no concessions. There are no deportations. We haven't ended one of the wars. We haven't remade the federal bureaucracy, and then he's a dick on top of it. Then it's all about his vanity and his own self-aggrandizement on top of it. What is the redeeming quality now? It's nothing. It's hollow. It's empty. So that's my take on the Rob Reiner stabbing. No one should be making fun of that. It's not funny. Who could honest to God look at that and laugh? Charlie Kirk, on the other hand, this is somebody who is my mortal enemy, who he was actively trying to suppress my career, ruin my life, all these things. He got shot by a political partisan. He wouldn't debate me, but he would debate the type of person that murdered him.
What the hell?
Damn, he must have really been his op. That's crazy. Hey, right wingers, why y'all ain't going after old Nicky for saying that? Come on now, why y'all scared of that man? That's crazy. He said that. That fool got off the timeline and started rapping.
I told you punk ass niggas to get off the motherfucking timeline and rap. That's the problem. You niggas be crying. You niggas be bitching. You niggas need to fucking rap. When you can't nobody else come up here if they not rapping like that. Stay your punk ass at home.
How y'all letting this man rap on Charlie Kirk grave like this? Damn.
Someone like me could have gotten on the show and said, well, I guess you should have debated me. I could have said some smart alecky thing. I wasn't even thinking that way because a young person got shot in public for basically no reason. And that's awful. It's awful that there are two fatherless kids. It's awful that this guy had a daughter who now has to live with this. Her brother is in prison for murdering her parents who are now dead. Her life is shattered and destroyed, and so many people's lives are destroyed. You go on True Social and make a joke about Trump derangement syndrome. It just goes to show there was never anything there. There was never a center. It was always empty. It was always, there was nothing inside there. And there's something tragic about that. Being a part of it for so long, I mean, I jumped off along the way, but you thought at one time that Trump really believed in America, believed in people, or something. I think he believes honestly in nothing. And now the only thing that's left is whatever people are projecting onto it, whether that's they still think they're fighting the left or whatever it is. The only thing that's left is what people still believe is there, what people are projecting, and that's coming from themselves. It doesn't exist.
I ask again, MAGA. He just put lyrics on Trump. Are y'all going to condemn his words, or y'all just going to keep talking about Charlie Kirk? I just want to know. Maybe y'all could tell me. I don't know what else there is to say. I mean, Trump been getting raked over the coals all day. So I guess. All right, y'all. I just wanted to bring that to you really quickly. Wasn't much there, and Roland stooged himself off as usual. Ain't really say nothing. MAGA is still out here getting fractured because of, Anyway, y'all, hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I try to be better next time. We'll see y'all tomorrow when we talk about Barry Weiss and Erica Kirk. And then, we just gonna glide on into the new year, because that's just what we do. So y'all take care, stay safe. And you know what to do when the agents of chaos come to mess up your existence.
Oh, here it goes.
Time's up.
Get your ass up. We gotta get out of here now.
But did we have a good time here? Hello?
Gotta get your groove on.
end of the day that they got to end.
That's it.